Facebook and this is YouTube.
Very good.
So.
Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
good, good, how are you?
So, answer to your text, yes, do the English.
Only just to make it easier.
Yeah, it's less up and down.
Yeah.
So we each have our own part of the room.
I'll go over here. Well,
Yeah.
is anybody sitting up there?
Yeah. Carolyn and.
I saw Carolyn, I saw Harriet.
I figured you could be on this end of this.
Yeah, or whatever.
Well, since we're not wearing masks, I mean, I have the mask to wear when I'm sitting out here, just I don't want us to come close to each other.
Understood.
Right.
So should I sit on the aisle on this side?
Let's switch. You'll start, come over here, and you'll come down. I'll go somewhere where
Maybe
you're
you
not.
can, what you can do is, Phyllis, if you can sit here, and Aaron can come down, sit in the end there, then you can go up. And
Okay.
you can come down and sit here, and then he can go up.
Yeah,
Perfect.
right. You start there, I'll hang here, it's fine.
Okay.
So it'll take a bit of long.
How are you?
Yeah, I brought them just in case, but then.
Yeah, I have the man, I have to get a cool mask.
I have a cool mask.
Cause I have that, but when I was in DC on Sunday, we took Alex back to his apartment, and everybody is out with these masks.
I have a vein from Batman mask.
I use this, and then I put a bandana on top of it,
There you go.
just to look cool.
That's
Because it's all
I
about,
should
it's all
have
about
read
looking
that.
cool.
I should put it.
Gotta look cool. You
Yeah,
can
why
put
don't you
any kind of fabric.
come in and buzz up front and tell them to throw on the YouTube, so people will start calling and saying, where is it?
Right.
I'm gonna get that translation.
Did Aaron give you what she, is in my file?
The Jewish name?
No, I didn't, Harry.
Well, the funny thing is, Phyllis is the one who told me about this.
She saw you.
Yeah, she.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what's on there?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
Well, you have to see right
Yeah.
there.
You mean right now,
Yeah,
instead of Ishmael?
not necessarily instead of.
Okay.
Harry, which should I sit?
You can go sit in the first row here, just sit separate apart. Yeah, sit apart enough, but at the first row, Harry, is fine.
See, it's in your handwriting. It says the setting is by Rabbi Shefa Gold.
Mm-hmm.
And then OZ.
Rabbi,
That's what it is.
Rabbi, YouTube's on.
I'll have to sit in room, so.
They're telling me in the office YouTube's on, so.
Ozzy, do that first? Or just do that?
How would you want? Let's start 12.
No. Do it.
Hassan, did you remember that Phyllis gave you a list of songs?
Rabbi was just reminding me, Harry.
This is the element that says, as long as you say this at service, she is aware.
She did talk to me about it, and I said, Phyllis, not for a long, long time.
Or
Harry.
YouTube is on.
YouTube's on.
Oh, look at this. My writing, Mrs. Phyllis Hecsh. Thank you for the compliments. Aw. Aw.
Oh, you have the list?
This was my handwriting. Yeah, because she asked me specifically, oh.
She told me long ago that she prearranged, prepaid, gave Rabbi a eulogy,
Wow.
and the review of the songs.
That sounds like Phyllis.
Oh, yeah, she
We're
doesn't
ready
read
to
that
start.
so much.
Why don't you come on up?
Tell me what this is.
I didn't tell you.
You can carry yourself, I don't know.
Yeah,
The microphone is on already.
so I can't say anything good about it.
Nothing can be heard. I'm going to step it up. As soon as I step it up, you can begin. Oh, is it?
Yeshua, Ozi, Vezimeratia, Vayehili, Lishua, Ozi, Vezimeratia, Vayehili, Lishua. I actually clearly remember talking to Phyllis in shul. She was always so complimentary and always looking so elegant. And she said to me, I want you to sing that at my funeral. And I said, not for a long, long time, Phyllis. And she left the papers for me with my handwriting saying, please sing this setting. And I'm so honored. This setting, these words, are when the children of Israel crossed the sea in safety, and they sang, God is my strength. God gives us all strength. May it continue to be so.
Son Pomerantz Borough began this service in memory of the lovely Phyllis with familiar words taken from the Bible. I compliment them with the words of Psalms. Shulam ala rasayinai al hari me'ayin yavo azri. Azri me'em Adonai oseh shamayim ba'aretz. Hayitem al reglecha, hayanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan, shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha yad yaminecha, Yomam HaShemesh lo yakeka v'yareach b'layla. Adonai yishmar, Yishan shomer Yisrael, Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha yad yaminecha, Yomam HaShemesh lo yakeka v'yareach b'layla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmar nafshecha, Adonai yishmar tzitecha v'orecha v'yata v'yad olam. I will lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? The source of our help is the Lord, creator of heaven and earth. He will not let you falter, Melissa. God will not let those who live good lives be forgotten and unsustained in this world and in the next. He is at your right hand to protect you. The Lord gives shelter. The sun will not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. The Lord will preserve your soul, guard your going and your coming from this time forth and forevermore. Melissa and Amelia, family and friends, there is a tradition in Jewish homes around the world for husbands to praise their wives, for children to extol their mothers and grandmothers, with the familiar words of King Solomon, Isha Chayim Mi'yitzah. A good woman who can find her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he has no lack of gain. She renders him and her family good, not evil, all the days of her life. She opens her hands to the needy. She extends her hands to the poor. That was Phyllis. She is robed in strength and dignity and cheerfully faces whatever may come. Her children come forward and bless her, saying, many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a God-revering woman is much to be praised. So place before her the fruit of her hands, for wherever good people gather, it is her deeds that will forever speak her praise. Good people, it is with heavy hearts that we come together today to pay tribute to the outstanding life and amazing character of Phyllis Hecsh, beloved by all, but most of all by you, Melissa, and by Phyllis's one and only granddaughter, Amelia. Phyllis had but one true purpose in life, and that was helping others. And so as a result, she really was beloved by all. George Bernard Shaw said, I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community,
and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. He might as well have been talking about Phyllis Hecsh. Phyllis knew she had a great deal to offer the world, and she also knew that there was a big world out there waiting to be explored. She was born in Johnstown, where her grandparents had settled. Her grandfather, uncle, and dad had a dry goods store called Bernie Brothers. But unlike her younger brother, Bill, of blessed memory, Phyllis had no plans for staying put. In fact, by the time she was 6 years old, she had drawn up a list of places in the world that she wanted to see. And so, she went and did it. She was determined. She was determined to go to college, even though a lot of women at that time did not. And so she left Johnstown and she went to Penn State. But she didn't stay too long before she came down with tuberculosis. And her college career seemingly would have come to an end, but with Phyllis, there was always plan B. And so she was sent for 3 years to a sanatorium out in Colorado. As usual though, Phyllis made the most of it. She was tenacious. And when she came back, she went back to college and she finished her degree. Her parents were from a large family. So when she graduated, she headed to Philadelphia, the big city, probably one of the places on her list. Through family, Phyllis met her Bashert, Alan, a Wharton CPA, and it wasn't too long before the two were married back in her home synagogue in Temple Road of Shalom in Johnstown. The couple then moved to the Parkview Apartments in Collingswood, where they were soon blessed with a loving, and devoted daughter, Melissa. She and Alan had a beautiful marriage. They played golf, played cards a little bit, they went bowling, but their life was centered on two things: their daughter Melissa and a life that revolved around volunteering. Alan was involved in B'nai B'rith, he was involved in the Masonic Lodge, among other organizations, and Phyllis gravitated towards helping families through the Jewish Family and Children's Services. Jewish Family and Children's Service was a constant in her life. In 1959, she joined the JFCS Board of Trustees and worked tirelessly for more than a decade, and then served as the president of the organization from 1970 to 1972. Her mission was simple: to reach out and raise awareness and to educate others about the services and programs that this beautiful organization offered then and continues to do to this present day. Phyllis, in fact, even asked a local journalist to write the first weekly column for The Voice about JFCS, about the agency, and you know what? You can still see that column in The Voice today. She also led the way through professional development through the JFCS staff. Melissa, when your mom turned 60, you made a surprise party for her, but no gifts were allowed, only contributions to JFCS. And with that seed money, JFCS established the Phyllis Hecsh Professional Development Fund, which is also still active to this day. Phyllis knew that most of the dollars that come into that agency and all nonprofits are used for programming and services, but she wanted to make sure that there were certain funds allotted to allow each person to grow professionally in their service of others. That was a thoughtful gesture. Phyllis had learned the importance of personal and professional development firsthand when she went back to school herself. Melissa, you'll remember that your dad questioned her, saying, "What do you need a degree like that for?" But after her presidency at JFCS, she indeed went to Penn and got her master's degree and became a full-time social worker in the Maple Shade School District. She had no idea when she started the degree. But Melissa, when your dad died suddenly at the age of 56, it was her career that made sure that she could provide for you and the two of you could build a good life together going forward. Phyllis was what you'd call a grassroots social worker who continuously fought for those in need by taking the time to fully understand the needs of each and every student, and she took great pride in each and every one of her students' success. But her greatest student in life was her beloved daughter, Melissa. And your mom was tough, as we spoke about. And you and your mom, Melissa, did not necessarily agree on everything 100% of the time. Who does with their parents? But I know that you venerated your mother. You respected her with your whole heart. And I also know that your mother was intensely proud of you. She was fond of you, and she was proud of the life that you made in Vermont. And her heart filled with joy when you became a mother. Phyllis and Amelia, you shared a special bond. Phyllis would come to Vermont. She loved it up there, especially in the summer when she'd rent a place, although she went and visited throughout the year. She loved spending time with Amelia, and interestingly, feeling that she herself might not live that long a life, her husband having died rather young. She made sure that Amelia would always remember her. So she put together picture books of every one of their visits that Amelia and Melissa still treasured. And now in graduate school at 23, Amelia, you have a treasure trove of memories, not just pictures, but an indelible impression in your heart of all the time that you shared with your grandmother. JFCS still remained near and dear to her heart. When Phyllis retired in 1998, she returned to JFCS as a volunteer driver for elderly clients, driving them to medical appointments or simply showing up to be a friendly visitor. 14 years later, she was still driving the clients, still active, and she remained active until very, very recently on the JFCS Advisory Council. Famously, she single-handedly organized the weekly Lionsgate soup collection for the JFCS food pantry. It started out as an underground operation, and the residents who didn't eat all of the soup that was served to them or didn't even touch it would put it in takeout containers. And Phyllis hung on the back of her chair in the dining room a bag. And if you ever had the pleasure, as I did, of eating with her, you could not help but notice that there was a steady flow of visitors to her table who came by to say hello and to drop some soup into the bag. Phyllis would then freeze all the soup and donate them to the JFCS Kosher Food Pantry for others to enjoy. Eventually, even the chef got in on the act and was freezing food for the food pantry. Still, feeling more to do, Phyllis began a weekly non-perishable food drive, complete with a food drop in the lobby of Lionsgate. She even made the collection box herself. She then bagged all of the food from the week, put all the bags in that little red tote on wheels that she seemed to always have with her, delivered some of that food door to door, and then took the rest to the food pantry. She didn't mind all the driving at all. In fact, she kind of loved it. She felt a personal sense of responsibility to come through for those in need. But not only was Phyllis helping those in need, her efforts also gave purpose and meaning to the other seniors that she was living with in the complex, and was able to show that they too could have a hand in helping others, which ennobled them. Phyllis was truly a role model for people of all ages. And I know I can speak, as Kazan just did, for my fellow clergy at Bethel, to say that we all admired Phyllis. She was, as you said, a lady. Sometimes she was, like another famous woman, an iron lady. But she was always elegant, truly respectful, very well spoken, and clearly very learned. She did not shy from sharing her opinions, but we, all of us, were always eager to learn from Phyllis. Still, it was not so much what she said, but what she did that made the most profound impression on us and indeed on all of us. You not only knew it, but you could feel it when Phyllis entered her room. There was a certain aura about her. And as we would stand in the beam and scan the room, we would do a double take and focus back on Phyllis. It was inevitable. Phyllis was amongst the most determined, practical, and tenacious people any of us has ever met, especially you, Melissa. Nothing got her down, and nothing got in her way. She always had a plan B. If there was something that could be done by anyone, then Phyllis was going to be the one to do it. No obstacle was too great. Nothing stopped her in her tracks. She might have had to take a step back, recalibrate, but she was always pushing forward every day. You could not help but be inspired by Phyllis Hecsh. Phyllis remained active and involved for as long as she possibly could. She didn't stop driving until a couple of years ago. Maybe she should have stopped a little sooner. She just kept on going. It really was, as George Bernard Shaw said, the harder she worked, the more she lived. But most recently, her abilities began to fade. And in a sense, so did her spirit. But even in her sunset, she reflected the love of those around her. Melissa and Amelia, you sustained her with your love. She knew that you always carried her in your hearts as she did you. And with the constant and consistent support of good friends like you, Carol and Harriet, she was able to live a life of dignity and purpose, to be able to get out, to be able to go and learn, to be able to take part in community activity, to feel vital and involved. She was very lucky to have you. She still read all the papers, followed all the news, and got up to face each day with courage. But eventually, she herself had had enough. And I believe that Phyllis could look back at her life with tremendous satisfaction, knowing that not only did she raise a beautiful daughter and a wonderful granddaughter, but she had led a life of meaning, that she had touched the lives of more people than she herself would ever know. And even in her passing, her influence is still felt. I reached out and spoke to people involved, both lay and professional, at JFCS, and every single one of them said that they learned so much from Phyllis. And if you think about it, what they learned from her, they pass on to others, not just their clients, but the people they train. And in that sense, Phyllis's influence will be enduring and last forever. And so, to you, Melissa, Amelia, to all of us who had such a special place in our heart for Phyllis, know that she will never leave this world. Her physical presence is no more, but her spirit lives on in the homes, in the hearts, and in the agency that meant so much to her. And so we pray to Hey Nishmatat Tzvura Tzvura that the soul of Froma Bat Chayim be bound in the bond of eternal life, and her memory endure as a blessing to all who knew and loved her forever. And together we say,
Amen. I'll ask you now to please rise in body or in spirit as we chant the memorial prayer. El Malei Rachamim, Shofein Ba'meromim, Hametzein L'chol Tachat Kanapei Shechina, Malot Kedoshim Tehorim, Kezohar Harakia Mazhirim, Et Nishmat Froma Bat שהלכה לעולמה, וגן עדן תהא מנוחתה. אנא ברחמים, הסתירה בסתר כנפך לעולמים, וזרור בצרור חיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום המשכבה, ונאמר Amen. O God, exalted and full of compassion, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Phyllis, Hecsh, Fruma, Bat, Chaim, who has gone to her eternal home. Master of mercy, we pray, remember all the worthy and righteous deeds that she performed in the land of the living. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. The Lord is her portion. May she rest in peace. And please say with me, Amen.